Ladies and gentlemen, we have got the brand new map, Mercenaries of Fortune. Played it all day. I've got some insight and some initial impressions, thoughts that I want to share with you guys on it. Of course, I haven't played Caldera's update yet, but there is some details on that as well. Now, I've read a lot of the different blog posts. Big thing is, of course, this is the biggest question I had all day today too. Yes, Rebirth is gone. It's going to be gone, but back next week as quads only for 3 weeks. And then after that, it's going to rotate every day between Fortune's Keep and Rebirth. It felt very, very similar to what Rebirth is, though. It was 40 players for squads, 46 for solos. Solos felt like they were still extremely action-packed the whole way through. Quads as well, it was really hard to reset because there was just so many people everywhere you went, which I think is a good thing. I'd rather have it be more packed. Some battle pass information, some event information, of course, the challenges that are out to get some cool stuff from it. They've also got the new Golden Plunder mode, which I haven't quite played yet, although some of you guys might have seen this, but I want to talk about some of the newer things. So again, here's the actual full player counts for solos, duos, trios, quads, 40 for that. The Fortune's Keep map, though, overall has a ton of new point of interest. We saw all of these as well from the actual pre-blog posts that we read through. Favorite spot so far is definitely the Keep, though. I will say this place is crazy. So much loot here, and it didn't seem like that many people actually wanted to drop on it, or it was so big that, like, you were just able to get enough loot off of it. The winery was pretty cool, too. There's a fountain there you can throw some money into, and it'll pop some stuff out. Didn't really seem worth it, though. We got some clusters from it, some precisions, but just because it was random, you couldn't choose what you wanted. It wasn't all that hot. We've got the new Mercenary cash extractions. This is a public event. It's not anything you manually trigger. It's kind of like when the helicopters come in or something like that, and it's AI units that get dropped in all around a helicopter with a bag on it. You run up to the bag, and you hit E on it or interact, and you'll get cash out of it. It'll drop cash on the ground. It actually gives you a ton of it. And you have to do it multiple times. So just because you hit it one time doesn't mean it's done. You can keep hitting it. Your teammates can hit it. And more AI come in. It seemed like it was like 10 to 15 AI came in. It looks like it's an event for second and fourth circles potentially. You see the signal flare. You have time to close in on it. The black market supply run, this is a contract that you actually do pick up. You probably want to get it more late game, though, because you need a lot of money, and it disappears. So go pick up the contract, complete it. It's like a supply run contract, kind of, but you have to find where the actual end of it is. You got to listen for it. Once you do find it, you can spend. You can buy the Nebula minigun. Don't waste your money on it. It's terrible. It's more of a meme if you want to do it. You can get the sequencer grenade, which you can then refill through restock or munitions boxes. They seem kind of cool, honestly. I think it's going to be more for screenshots. It'll be good against the vehicles, actually, too, although we didn't try the new vehicle yet. And you can buy specialist bonus, which is only $15K. So very affordable. This is actually going to be huge. I successfully pulled this off one game and made a massive difference. Here's the sequencer grenade as well, which, by the way, can be countered by stim as well. So that much even better. Talk a little bit about Caldera. Now, I haven't played this per se yet, but we've read a lot of the blog posts for this. The biggest thing that they're doing is opening up the map so you can see clearer on it. That, in addition to the sniper rebalance changes, a lot of you guys were asking, do I think that they were going to nerf snipers into Season 4? No, I did not think that at all, and that's not exactly what happened. Or, excuse me, buff it. Were they going to make them better again? No, I didn't think they were. They actually did make it a little better, which we'll talk about in a second. But you can even see in their sentence here, changes that were made in Season 3, such as the sniper rebalance, ghost movement changes, and additional serpentine perk were in preparation for Season 4. Right, so they are not changing snipers back. The reason they changed snipers in the first place and made them worse was because of the increased health pool that they made. They made all the other weapons worse, so they wanted to make snipers worse as well. I think that it takes it to a whole another level, though, for snipers. But anyways, we don't need to get into all that right now. That could be a separate video. If you guys want to hear more about that, let me know in the comments. Give it a like. Always appreciate it with it. Anyways, bunch of new POIs. Biggest one obviously being Storage Town. A couple micro POIs. Some new bunkers that you can also get a golden key card for. My chat was telling me today you get absolutely juicy loot in it, like tons of loot. There's also mercenaries under there. Less vegetation. Planes are also back, which I thought was interesting. And they're going to continue to monitor how they do, but it seemed to be pretty positive response. I wasn't a big fan of them, but hey, nonetheless, whatever. And weapon trade stations now also going to be on Caldera as well, which I think is going to be a pretty cool change. Now, overall gameplay-wise, they added the armor SUV. Didn't quite get to try that. We talked about the EMP. There's also broken ATMs. I believe this is specific for the plunder mode, though, where you can pick up cash. Might also be in the main one, but I didn't see any on the map today. We'll keep an eye out for it. There's also portable redeploy balloons, which I kept an eye out for all day, but even after 5 hours of playing, did not see a single one of them. So I don't know if these haven't been added. They might only be for Caldera map, or maybe they're just ultra rare. Anyways, quality of life updates. These are pretty cool. I still got to go into my settings and update some of these, but the cursor will always appear at the top of the list. I didn't actually notice this happening for me. Potentially, this is a setting I need to change, but I do like the idea of that, where it just automatically goes to the right place, so I can just click. If as soon as I hit the buy station, I just click the mouse, rather than having to go actually click on the proper thing, would be great. The gas brake animation will no longer interrupt parachuting while falling, which is good, but we're not at the best one yet. But this has been updated to align the previous update with the removal animation. They've done some tweaks with it. We can even do a bigger breakdown on how the gas animations work. But even if you just stay aimed down sight, the gas mask won't come down on you. So that's a good tip for you. Buy station menus, though, they're also making it, if you update it in your settings, you can make it so you can buy multiple people at one time or make multiple purchases. So as soon as you hit the buy station, you don't need to hit it, buy, which automatically closes it, hit it again, open, click. Like, it saves you some steps. Love that. Players also, now you'll see this little icon on the left here of like 1, 5, if you have 5 plates, for example, and it'll tell you how many you already have. So you don't need to be like, oh, do I have the gas mask? Close the thing, reopen it. Just makes it that much more intuitive as you're working with it. Really nice, just quality of life update with that. The deployable buy station will also last longer in the gas as the normal stations do. Fire sale public events. This is actually huge. Loadout markers will now receive a discount. That's during fire sale. This is not stated here, but it also includes the quick run contracts. If you complete a supply run contract, you also get a discount on your loadout. It goes down from 7,500 to, I think it was about 5,400, 5,600. Massive, dude. I mean, to get your loadout, that's even now a better early game pickup. Just get that contract with the squad, go complete it. You'll probably get enough cash even just from that with the discount. One person, just spend your money on that. Huge. Self-res will now have a small associated cost with it as well. So slight nerf to that in terms of actually using it, but I think that's fine. I think self-res is still too prevalent personally. But again, topic for another time. Out of bounds timer now made to 10 seconds as well, rather than 5 seconds. This is an absolute big one. Of course, I haven't gone to the gulag yet because I don't die. Also because I haven't played Caldera, as I said. But we'll go with the former. Spectators now have muted footstep audio. Thank goodness. It only took them 2 years to get this one done. I am literally so happy about this. I have complained about this so much. It's insane. I'm very happy to have that. On-screen hit markers, less duration, more clear in terms of who you're actually hitting and the speed of it. Redeploy position will also put you closer to your actual team. They said they did in the past, but for some reason, I guess it didn't work. This is also really big. Now the actual floor loot ground perks, Ghost, Combat Scout, Double Time, Cold-Blooded, and Amped, just off of the floor loot. Are you kidding me, dude? I think this is probably going to be too powerful. These perks are like the best, some of the best ones. Ghost, Combat Scout, Amped in particular. Like, this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a little bit more annoying seeing those, but I guess it'll be nice finding them as well. Stuns and flash resistance has also been buffed, which I'm not. I guess it's kind of cool for Battle Hardened. Battle Hardened is technically better. I don't think I'm going to be a personally big fan of that one, but there you go. And this is actually one I'm a big fan of, and I even noticed in the games we were playing today, Scavenger awards an additional $500 when you pick up that Scavenger pack. Just brilliant, dude. This is something I'm so glad they went for on it. Every time you get a kill, now you get a plate, and you get ammo, and you get 500 cash, which it's not like that big of a deal. It's not an absolute game changer. But if you say kill somebody who's coming back from the gulag late game or something, like it's just that much more opportunity to get some cash and get rewarded for pushing kills and to give you a better reason to actually have Scavenger perk. This is similar for some of the other perks that I think are pretty useless for like, what's the one that gives you the extra loot out of the actual boxes, like Kill Chain or something? A good idea that was mentioned from the chat recently was, what if you could carry 2 kill streaks at one time? Like, that would be a nice benefit to having that perk versus just a higher chance of getting kill streaks from a box. It might not even be the kill streak you want. Yeah, it is a kind of a cool benefit, but it's not compared to that. Imagine if you could have 2 at the same time. You got kill chain. I think that would be sick. I thought that was a brilliant idea. I would love to see him implement something like that. Hardline. Speaking of the other things I mentioned, yes, Hardline also is now included in the loadout marker price decrease. That was mentioned here, but again, the supply run contract was not mentioned. That also decreases the price. Keep that in mind. Restock perk, recharge time, increased to 30 seconds, up from 25. So slight nerf to restock. Still very good, I think. And radar jammer, it says it decreased the chance of it to drop. But man, I am telling you, these things are down like the whole entire time. I think they could decrease this even more. The radar jammers are super annoying because you can't see the map. You can't even see like other so much. They're very common. I would like to see them decrease even more personally. Snapshot grenades also got a radius decrease. Now, I was running snaps today. They still felt very good. 22 meters is still a very, very big radius. Like, very big. So, yeah, that's feeling good. UGM, I'm very interested to try this. We're going to try this out tomorrow. I might even have some videos up by the time you guys are watching this as a video afterwards. But we also got the Marco 5. This thing is so good. It is ridiculous. Even using it as a regular, the purple one in particular, the purple and legendary one seemed really good off the floor loot. Like the recoil control seemed extremely good. The damage seemed to maintain well. I think we had like a 64 round mag. Yeah, 64 round mag in that one. But of course, the akimbos is what you're going to see. Probably a lot of gameplay for myself, and you're gonna see that nerfed probably the next week or two here. In particular, the blueprint's pretty good that you can buy, but you do need to get a couple more attachments for it to really tighten that hip fire spread up. Otherwise, it is wide. If you're like point blank, it's going to win most of the fights. But once you get some more of the hip fire ones, then you're really juicing it, man. There was a bunch of assault rifle attachments. The big one is STG got a little bit of a nerf. The actual minimum damage, I believe it was decreased here. Let me see. I don't want to get into too much of the specifics. The KG also got buffed, though. This one was a minimum damage increase, which was okay. I felt it a little bit, but the big thing was they took out of the tight grip the recoil control, so I started messing around with other attachments for it and still had good recoil control on it. I mean, the gun's very easy to use in general. And they also buffed the 40-round mag, which is what I tried. It felt very good, but the reload was so slow that it was hard to get multi-kills with it, especially for it being such a small mag. I wasn't a big fan of that one. Sleight of hand did help, though, I will say. Still some more ARs I do want to try out. Visual recoil buff as well in the Volk, which was already a gun I really liked. If you guys have seen some of my videos on that. We also had, I mean, there's a bunch of tweaks. We'll go through this, I think, in a separate thing, but we'll also go through and test these weapons individually. So, as we go through each of the individual weapons, we'll talk about it. The big thing that my chat kept talking about, though, was the crossbows got buffed. The bullet velocity buff is actually crazy. I was using the build that my wife set me up with that had super slow bullet velocity, and that was terrible. So to just be maxed on the perks and just default get a 30% buff is crazy. Melee weapons also, they talk about here that they're giving them an overall buff, specifically for the melee weapons, though, not just general melees, like if you have a gun out and you melee stuff. This is like if you actually use the one. You can see the details of all the individual weapons here. If you want to see any of these things, you just find it on their website. We'll link it in the description too. But we've also got a buff to the Arma, kind of. They got an increase in damage, which I think net is going to be a buff. Even though it's a damage range decrease, the range is not even, it's like a half a meter decrease. So it's really not that bad in terms of the range decrease. Couple attachment changes there. Blixen did see a minor nerf as well, but it's only 1 point of mid-range damage. Movement speed scaler down just barely, 0.01 and 0.05 decrease on the movement speed scaler. It felt very fast. I used it today. Blixen still felt very good. A lot of people were killing me with the Blixen as well, even using the new submachine guns. This was probably the one I was most commonly dying from. Mach 10, actually Cold War got a buff. Owen got a slight nerf. PPSH got a slight buff in terms of the recoil, bullet velocity, and just most visual recoil or recoil intensity with it. So I don't know how big of a decal. Sten actually got a pretty nice buff as well in terms of the damage kind of across the board. However, and range, but this is such a small magazine. It's kind of a hard one to use anyways, but definitely one I want to keep my eye out on because I did like the gun-ho build for the Sten before that. Snipers got a little bit of a tweak though. So this is the key here that I wanted to touch on. The following aggressive snipers now adopt the lowest tier of flinch. These utilize the flinch settings that previously only the marksman rifle Charlie, which is the Modern Warfare Car 98K and the K-Swiss had. If you remember in this golden era of the game for sniping, the K-Swiss was just like, it was great at range, it was great at close range, and it had huge flinch resistance. So if you were getting shot at, your gun doesn't pop up much and you could stay on target and hit the shot. Now, that means all of these snipers are down to this level of Car 98K, which is insane. Pellington, Tundra, Type, Car 9 Vanguard as well. Could be time for this thing to shine. I don't know. But even the heavy snipers, quote unquote, the ones that are the one-tappers from any range, ZRG, HDR, etc., they also got a decrease in 12% for the flinch resistance. So that's pretty good too. It's at least a little bit back. Not much. I still don't think it's going to justify great use of it, but it should be pretty good. Bunch more weapon tweaks. The 3-line got a couple more tweaks as well. Couple nerfs on this transition thing, in and out, but the overall attachments are increasing ADS speed for most of these, so I think it's going to be a net buff, personally. This is the other big thing here for the actual weapons you want to keep in mind, though, is just overall, MX silencers are going to be nerfed, only by 1%, but less vertical recoil. It's not going to help you on the vertical recoil as much, essentially. The compensator actually gives flinch resistance now, and the muzzle brake also horizontal control with flinch resistance. So these are nice little juicy buffs. And the flash hider got a nerf in terms of its ADS speed with that. Under barrel wise, the big thing here, steadies got gun movement decrease, hip fire increase, though, horizontal increase. The skeleton, this is obviously probably one of the most common ones people use. Actually less benefit to the hip fire, but does increase the movement speed. So that's actually nice if you want to go for more movement speed builds. I've seen the MP40. Actually, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but this thing seems to be absolutely flying out of its mind off the floor loop blue one. Could be something to do with the skeleton and maybe some of the other attachments they even tweaked with it. And maybe it's a bug. I don't know. The other thing is the polymer did receive a nerf to the flinch resistance. It was down from 95. It had a 95% flinch resistance for this polymer grip. That is insane. This thing is down to 50% now, which is still really good. But I started to run the hatch a little bit more. Might be more interesting with some vertical recoil, some more flinch resistance, and some horizontal, a little bit more balanced maybe. Granular, taped. All of these ones got buffs in general. You could pause it, read those if you want to. But that's pretty much the overall sum up of the update here. Quite a bit for Season 4. In particular, the new map is just... To me, it's so nice to have something new to play again. It's the same thing that I felt about Caldera. They made a ton of improvements to Caldera over this. I'm really excited to try that out too. If you enjoyed it, you want to see even more of this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let me know in the comments. We'll go through them. And yeah, give it a like. Thanks so much for tuning in, though, guys. StoneMountain 64, over and out.